Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Wednesday, number 25 day for this month of May 2023. My name na Capo Daniel, wuna own countryman, Mr. No Connie, Ambazonian FBI. Una welcome to our daily podcast, a program where they bring una the truth, they bring una meaningful information, fact-based analysis for help we as we work for this journey to our freedom, to the independence of Ambazonia. Good people of Ambazonia, the people of Ambazonia and our liberation struggle continue to get advice as the war's sympathizers now are coming from La République to Cameroon. The latest being the former governor of the northern part of La République to Cameroon, Abubakar Omeye, have also come out to put his advice following a series of advice by Thibaut Nagy, and it has reflected exactly the type of communication we are getting from the corridors of diplomacy. But first, it is now day 2 since La République du Cameroon CPDM, head of the Ngi region of Momo, was arrested by Ambazonian forces, our brave hero that arrested these individuals who violated the ban against 20th May and participated in the charade to celebrate the demise of our people, are now in custody. This presents a very good opportunity for Ambazonian brave defenders to define themselves and the purpose for which they are fighting for. Whenever a criminal is arrested, the expectation is that he will be charged in court. The charges will be the reasons why he was picked up. And our soldiers must know that the unit that was involved in arresting these individuals have gone dark, which is expected due to security reasons. So all communication have been cut off for the last 6 hours. And as I make this audio to you, I have no idea about the status of those who have been arrested or our brave heroes of the TTA that have arrested this individual. But the last time we had communication, all of those who have been arrested were treated properly. They have been given their 3 days meal and they have had communications with their family members. So fellow Ambazonians, these are unique opportunities. But the greatest problem in Ambazonia is always Ambazonia, as I've always repeatedly told our people. The last time we had a very high-profile arrested individuals, Regina Mundi, it became an issue where you have all the Toms and Jerry were jumping on social media because it was done by the ADF. Those who were calling for her to be executed because somehow they thought ADF would get into problem by doing so. And those who were saying it was a legitimate arrest because Regina Mundi was an unelected official senator of La République du Cameroon that violates the law that was put in place by our public in 2018 that requires all legislatures to withdraw from Cameroon and banning of political participation. So it was high treason that anybody who call himself a parliamentarian or senator will commit by taking on that rule. It was very obvious that our social media noise was not driven by the love of our people Ambazonia, but it was driven by partisanship. A will jump here and say, "Una must kill amo." B will jump here and say, "Me una no go take money." At the bottom line is, whenever an individual is arrested, it gives the forces or the authority that arrests it or for the purpose which he was arrested to be established. When Regina Mundi was arrested, the reason for which she was arrested for was articulated by myself. And I told the public, and I make a direct demand to La République du Cameroon, release our political prisoners, starting with Pa Fongalafo, who is an old senior citizen living his last days and has nothing to do with jail. He has never picked up arms, never have he supported the pickup of arms to fight for the freedom or the right of self-determination. I made that clear to the international community, engaging the International Red Cross Society, engaging the State Department of the United States, and including the United Nations. The AGOFC and the ADF made the case through that arrest and the reason and the purpose for which that arrest was made very, very clear. That is exactly what we expect from our forces on ground zero. The reason why you arrest somebody must be clear from your demands. We expect that the demand for freedom for Ambazonia, the demand for public interest will be the primary demands we will hear from our brave heroes. So far, there have been rumors of 50 million being demanded for, and those type of demands, if true, will become a definition of what our forces have become or what they are actually doing, fighting to kidnap people for ransom or to collect money from people. This podcast, which is an educative platform, is meant to elevate, educate, and teach all of us, because this is a collective struggle, and all Ambazonians, to get the right message from the leadership. Nobody should be arrested because of money, because we want money to buy granite or money to buy sticks. Those are illegal. Those will be considered as kidnapping. Anybody who does this or who supports such policy, indirectly or directly, will only encourage criminal gangs to group themselves up and call themselves Ambazonian fighters and go around kidnapping our own people, our own parents, our own relatives, including so-called CPDM, sometimes because majority of them are living in exile in Yaoundé or Douala in the name of our struggle. We should make it clear. Nobody should be arrested, and the demand is money, or the primary demand or the primary motivation that will lead to their release or not release should be money. If that is money, then our soldiers have lost their way. And this should be a message to every Ambazonian hero and defender in ground zero. If the purpose for you to arrest any individual is for money, whether it's for stick or granite, you have lost your way and you have lost your mind. Sticks and granite are very important. Money itself are very, very important. But money is not everything, and sticks are not everything. How many brave Ambazonian soldiers have we invested money and they have been disarmed by civilians sometimes or other forces who are deemed weaker? Look at the most armed forces today in ground zero. They are not forces that have even raised funds. Look at the Bui Warrior, for example, who are being managed by Scandi Media and some few people in Banso. But every single day they go out for mission. Every single day they go out for mission. Have they raised money? Did they come to ask for money for granite from our people? No. But there are abuses, nevertheless. If you look in Bui, in Wainama, anybody, any Banso man will come up for Wainama, if you want to go back for village, he need the fear now only La Republic. It is also fear now our boys them, who are not doing so from a bad place or for a wrong motivation. Because the most part of our boys who take money from our people do so believing it is for the right purpose. It is a failure of leadership, failure of activists to actually know what is going on, to be able to help those brave boys who might not know what to do, who are confused or are not certain in their mind of what to do. I've made it clear to our people, make no man no touch money for thy place. Make no man no tax thy place, because this will open the door for abuses. Because most of our people who come back home during this war period is due to funeral. 90% of the people is due to funeral. And to stop any abuses, we must stop allowing, legitimizing, and we must indicate to our soldiers that nobody should collect money in the name of Ambazonian struggle from mourners who are coming to bury their dead. It is morally wrong. If those people want to give money, it is up to them. They can give money. It shouldn't be an obligation. But there are certain corps that needs to be charged, like corps of traitors, corps of enablers and collaborators cannot be buried in Ambazonia without paying for their crimes financially. But for individual Ambazonian with no case on their head, nobody should tax a corpse. Usually, people and families will give money to the boys around the quarter who helps with funeral processions and security and all those stuff. But those money are never obligations. Those money are not money that if you don't pay, they will not allow your corpse to be buried. Those things must stop. And our people also have had feedbacks about my communication of yesterday, where I refused that Ambazonian soldiers should not collect money for passengers. And I repeat, I forbid I give it as an advisory note to our people and all Ambazonian soldiers. Do not collect money from passengers. That is what the enemy does. That is what La République, their country, is noted for. A country of couper de route. Our soldiers should not become like the gendarmeries and the La République du Cameroon terrorist Turks who go around, harass individuals in vehicles, bring them down, humiliate them because they want to receive bribes. No passenger should be charged. No passengers. We must come together to harmonize a tax system or policy that is acceptable in all Ambazonian controlled areas and all Ambazonian defenders. That responsibility is on us and we must do it. We have heard the international communities make statement that is clear to the Ambazonian people. The international community looks to the diaspora community for communication and for representation for what is happening in Ground Zero. They don't look for Ground Zero for those who are in Ground Zero still doubting or thinking about such stuff. I'll be doing a presentation on TV, on my YouTube channel, and on my Facebook and platforms on Thursday to give more explanation with these feedbacks we are having. I'm also waiting on a major international trips to Europe on our struggle to advocate and to get feedback on possible ways for our struggle to go forward that will gather the type of international support that we need. And I will make that public. Some people, they will ask and say, why would they talk all this thing? Now, only for Ambazonia, where diplomatic trips and diplomatic engagement then are sacred. The need for hide them. Our people have become so stricken, so badly treated that they things like slaves. We must hide things for them. It has happened nowhere in the world like that. If we want our people to be respected or recognized, we must first recognize them and respect them. And our people must have a better sense of entitlement, entitled to information, entitled to answers, entitled to accountability for those who speak on their behalf or claim to do so. Without much ado, fellow Ambazonians, I will go to the advice that have been put to the Ambazonian people by former governor of the northern province of La République du Cameroon, Mr. Abubakar Mayor. He has become the leader of the faction of the Northeast that are demanding for federation and are the backbones of the supporters of Amadou Ahidjo, the first president of La République du Cameroon. These are the potential people or bloc who may tend to arms in the struggle of the fight to replace Mr. Pobia as president. His statements are indeed representative of a big constituency that we cannot ignore. Listen to his statement that was made in a television programs in La République du Cameroun.
Structurellement parlant, je crois qu'il y a eu déficit d'information. Je le dis parce que quand vous voyez les résolutions de l'OUA y afférentes, vous découvrez que tous les pays là qui sont passés à l'indépendance, l'OUA, il y a la charte, je veux dire, de l'OUA qui définit les modalités. On vous dit les frontières héritées de l'indépendance. C'est-à-dire que toutes ces frontières-là, après l'indépendance, sont intangibles.
I go to translate them small. It talks concerning the Anglophone crisis. There is a lack of information to the Cameroonians. They should understand that for all countries which have attained their independence, the international law is clear about their international borders. It should be as it was after they attained their independence.
Vous ne pouvez plus. Toutes les structures internationales le savent. Comment vous allez faire?
It talks say all the structure internationally, that means say all international body them, they understand the modalities of borders, whether a border transfer or border expansion, it be based on this law, say make country, change a border after you attain independence.
Donc, il y a eu ce déficit du côté même du nozo. Parce que le planteur qui est loin là-bas dans la brousse, il ne connaît pas qu'il y a ces traités-là, il ne connaît pas. Que c'est impossible, il ne connaît pas. Il y a eu des cas, parce que pourquoi ce traité arrive? C'est parce que Il y a eu pareil problème ailleurs en Afrique. Et les chefs d'État se sont réunis rapidement pour dire, écoutez, il va falloir donc trouver une solution pour le futur, parce que tel que ça se passe, et le Mali s'était déjà embarqué dans la zone parce qu'il y avait des soucis là-bas, et d'autres pays. Alors donc, ils ont mis la charte en place. Nous sommes obligés de la respecter. Parce que si maintenant, le verrou saute au Cameroun, eh ben, ailleurs, ça va se passer aussi. Donc, c'est impossible.
So it talks the African community from Chad, Mali, and many other countries, they will get similar question them, and all African leader them, they will gather for put modalities. And the rule na say, make all man respect the law them for boundaries as you get them, as you get your independence. Because if this law they not be respected across the board, it be disrespected for one place, it will affect other places them too for Africa. So they wanted to talk about the importance of this law and how internationally acceptable this way of thinking it be.
Alors il faut trouver donc moyen d'expliquer ça aux gens et de s'asseoir, peut-être un autre Fumban si vous voulez, mais nous-mêmes là dans le Nord, nous sommes pour la fédération.
So it talks say the two sides the need for Shidong for talk about this issue them. That is talking to the legitimacy of the problem and identifying the root causes. We've been at the contest for sovereignty over our territory vis-a-vis la République du Cameroun, their claim. And it talks a bit for them for the northern part, they want the federation.
On ne va pas continuer comme ça. Il faut qu'on ait à la fédération. Et si vous, dans le, je ne dis pas particulièrement vous, mais je dis le Nozo, si vous pouviez essayer d'arrêter cette bagarre inutile. C'est une bagarre inutile, moi je trouve. J'ai une cousine du village dont...
If further for talk say, it is sending a message for we Ambazonian them. Say if we leave this useless war and we choose another method, it will be better for us. And this goes to the cumulative mind thinking of the international community. Because we in Ambazonia, we are living in a bubble where we have created our own illusion and delusion about what is happening. And you have all Tom and Jerry and talking heads like Chris Anu and everybody fighting to bring Tibo Nagi to push their own agenda or imagination of what is going on, talking about a useless conversation of federation, of federalism, simply because they want to be relevant in political discussion in Ambazonia. And to that, I would tell my people, referendum is very important and is very good. But everything have its time. It's like you trying to go to a job and then you are debating about when I go to the cashier in the counter to cash my check, I want them to give me a $1 note or $10 note or $100 note. That is just useless conversation because receiving the money from the counter is the last stage. First, you have to fight to work. After you work, you go and see your manager to give you your paycheck before you take the check to bank. You cannot try to cross a bridge before you reach there. So the conversation about federalism is wrong conversation. You are talking about putting the last stage for conflict. We have not even reached there. So it is useless for anybody to start proposing mechanism for resolving a problem because federalism is a mechanism. It's not even a proposed solution. They use it as a mechanism to determine an already known outcome. It's just a procedure to a modality to establish what is already known. That is, everybody knows that. So we should forget about these people who distract us about what is going on, which is just happening in their own mind. In the international community right now, they are seeing the Ambazonian people as bent on war, whether we like it or not. And La République is taking full advantage of this impression internationally. That's why you see the Saint Simon Monzo to come out and say Ambazonians should abandon violence. That is how they are seeing us, because coming from the Canadian talks, all international community will look at the expert and the Canadian government for their position or what they are communicating vis-a-vis what happened there. And that would determine the international impression about what is happening. That is why the specialized and researchers' statement that will come out that analyzes what will happen there determines international impression and mindset about our war. So this is the mindset. We know we want peace. We know we have been asking for dialogue for all of our life. But nobody knows. Nobody cares what we think. the international system does not work like that. Our public statement, the statement we make to our own constituency, is being observed and determined on how people perceive us. Even more important, it is our engagement on this topic that really shows people what we really want and what we are really doing. So each time we have an opportunity to engage with the international community, it defines the perceptions they have from us. It leaves with them an impression that defines us, not what we go and say in our own social media platforms or in our own people, our own backside gossip from Kang House or Shah House or for House and for Drink or Don Tour. Not be those things that they define what the international community think. And there is a very important message that we should get from the international community, which I will give it to our people, that they want us to be able to communicate properly, both to ourselves and to the international community, on what we really want. It's not that it's in doubt in our mind, but are we communicating it in a meaningful manner, in a consistent manner, in a manner that reflects how mature territories or people who deserve independence should be communicating? Those and more will be coming your way. For the meantime, the advices have been made. Whether we become a people that will never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity, that will all depend on us all. And we must indeed do the right thing for the right purpose for our people who deserve every bit of our attention and commitment. But one thing is for sure, the international community are paying attention both to what we say and what we don't say and what we say to ourselves. Capo Daniel, signing out, looking out for you.